Most people know breastfeeding is the healthiest and most natural way to feed a baby. But breastfeeding is not always easy in a society where it is hidden and where we rarely get a chance to learn how to do it. Banbury breastfeeders believe there needs to be greater awareness through people sharing their experiences and for society as a whole to openly support and encourage women to breastfeed.
When I was a baby, it was the only thing to do, and look how I've grown up. I'm 82.
I don't believe in stuff like that.
Why?
I just don't, you know.
Well, it didn't embarrass me, no. It's alright, there's nothing wrong with it. It's natural, isn't it?
I don't know why I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it.
There are many benefits of breastfeeding. For the mum, she tends to lose weight and get her figure back more quickly if she's breastfeeding, and it's a lot more convenient than having to sterilise bottles and worry about milk going off when she goes out. She doesn't have to heat up bottles of milk in the night when the baby wakes, and she doesn't have to spend time in the day making up the feeds. For the babies tend to get a lot fewer infections. They tend to be healthier, less colic, less constipation. Breastfeeding for the first 3 months gives enormous benefits to the baby as far as reducing infections go.
Not in public, is it?
Why is that?
Well, everybody be looking, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they?
Well, I breastfed all my 3 children, and at first I was quite shy about doing it in public, but in the end the child has to be fed. Better to breastfeed discreetly, and I know you can breastfeed discreetly, rather than have a screaming child making a great scene in public.
Because the child is getting natural nutrients, should we say, and some of these people who complain about ladies getting out their breasts in public, what does it matter? You know, if they need to do it, just get on and do it.
Society is a lot more liberal these days. Attitudes have changed a lot, and you can quite easily go into a coffee shop or a store and feed your baby, and you can go somewhere private if you want to. After all, breastfeeding is what breasts are for.
I didn't even notice. No, I wouldn't take any notice. I think it's natural. Milk is better than all this tin stuff.
It doesn't offend me personally, but I can imagine it certainly offends certain people.
And what is it about it that you feel uncomfortable with?
Well, I personally don't feel uncomfortable with it. It's just I think probably quite a few other people do, and there's no need for it, I don't think it's necessary.
And where do you think it would be better for her to?
In ladies' toilets.
It's a natural function. Why should anybody object?
It doesn't bother me. I didn't even notice, to be perfectly honest, so I'm quite happy.
When thinking about the best way to feed your baby, there are a variety of people who can offer support and information.
So you've obviously thought about how you're going to feed your baby?
Yes, I have. I'd like to breastfeed.
But if you really want to do it, there's no reason why you can't.
No.
Very few women actually can't breastfeed. So I think if you do run into problems, people are there to help you.
Yeah.
We usually try and get the baby to feed within about an hour of birth, and that's usually a really good feed.
Right.
The midwife will help you.
Yeah.
And the baby's usually quite alert and interested then, and if they feed really well then, that bodes well. Have you got any worries about it?
Only the soreness. That's only been the problem. A lot of people have said how sore you are.
You are sore. It normally only lasts a day or so.
Yeah.
And there are ways of dealing with it, which we'll show you. And it usually passes. I think you've got to remember that these things pass. They're not going to last forever.
No,
and it gets easier.
that's right.
Once you and the baby have learned the knack, it gets easier. Once you get home, there'll be a midwife coming in to see you. You've got telephone numbers you can contact. After the midwife's finished visiting, you have a health visitor. She'll be at the end of the phone if you've got any problems. There's the National Childbirth Trust. They have breastfeeding counsellors. There's the La Leshi League. Various people are very keen to help you and offer you advice if you do have difficulties. Other mothers who have done it are usually the best help.
Yeah.
With Rebecca, my first child, I was very determined to breastfeed. When I went into the hospital to have her, I had no birth plan or anything. And when she was born, I latched her on straight away and had very little problem. A little bit of soreness the first few days, but soon got into a good rhythm with the breastfeeding, and really I've never looked back. I think when you first start breastfeeding, you find that it's a very tiring and very time-consuming job. I remember it seemed that I was spending all of my
Before I had any of the children, I wasn't sure whether to breastfeed or bottle feed. When I went into the hospital to have Grant, I thought I'd try breastfeeding, but it just didn't work. He just wouldn't take to it. So after a week of trying, I switched him onto a bottle, and I found that easier. But on the second time around with Ben, I thought I'd bottle feed him again because of the bad time I had, and I became so engorged that I thought I'd just put them on and try it, and he was a natural. So I thought, what have I been missing, really?
A lot of women don't want to breastfeed because they're going to go back to work, but in fact any breast milk is better than none, and even if they only feed for a few weeks, it's better than not giving any at all. Once they do go back to work, they can either express milk to give for someone else to give to the baby whilst they're at work, or else they can give the baby formula milk and breastfeed it whilst they're at home in the evenings and at weekends.
When they have this maternity leave from work, mothers, then I think they should breastfeed then, you know, for that 3 months. I think it gives children a much better start in life.
It's a better
Immunes them from so many illnesses to start with.
A lot of people worry because they can't see how much milk the baby's having, but if you have a happy, healthy baby who's growing and thriving, you can guarantee that they're getting enough breast milk. You don't really need to worry about the nutrients they're getting because the milk is specifically designed for that baby and is the perfect food for that baby.
I think my husband feels that he would like to be helping more, and in a way I think what he would like to do is be able to take Joseph off of my hands in the night when I'm really tired, because we all get tired, and give him a feed. And obviously with breastfeeding you can't do that, but he can help in lots of other ways, and he recognises that, and he would much rather know that they're getting the nutrition that they need and the best that we can give them than worrying about a few minutes saved in the middle of the night.
My advice to a young mum, really, is they're not going to have a lot of money, are they? And a tin of milk costs about £7 a week, and breastfeeding costs nothing. Plus they haven't got to heat it up, and they haven't got to pay for bottles or sterilising units, so they're going to save a lot of money in the end, and it's easier. And at night, you haven't got to go downstairs and make a feed. You just feed them in bed and put them back again. So easy.
For me, the main benefits have been convenience. That's a huge benefit. Not having to carry bottles and clutter about. In fact, I've never known that. I've never had that problem, if you like. Knowing that both children have had the best that I can give them.
I just go out with the baby, no baggage, nothing, because the milk's already there. And in the summer, the bottles used to heat up and get hot, and they could quite easily go off. But now it's already there, and it's not going to go off because it's inside and it's just in its own little container. And I don't have to worry anymore. It's just me and the baby.
I think being able to breastfeed and nourish your baby yourself gives you a great feeling of closeness with the baby. Felt very close right from the word go and never looked back.
Well, yeah, I think on the whole it should be encouraged, breastfeeding and that. It's definitely better for the babies.
I think it's the most naturalist way of feeding your baby.
I think it does, in a way, probably endear the child more to the mother. It probably creates a closer bond between the mother and the child.
Mother feeding a baby is the most natural, wonderful thing you can see, I think.
I was there when he was first born, and we, about an hour after birth, I think we.
About an hour.
You laid down and
put
he
him.
laid on his side and he went straight on, didn't he?
Latched straight on.
And how did that feel?
It felt wonderful, really. I don't really know how I thought it would feel, but he naturally went on there and it seemed the natural thing to do. Having now attempted breastfeeding, I don't think bottle feeding would have given me the closeness or the bonding that I've had with him. And he's contented and happy.
Here's Jeremy.
The whole experience is a kind of takes you back a little bit. There's nothing to describe it really, apart from it's beautiful and amazing and wonderful. And he slipped through, didn't it? Oh yeah. The birth itself was, apart from being long and it was amazing. And then he came out and he started to feed off his mother, and it just looked the most natural thing in the world. You couldn't imagine anything sort of more beautiful, really. Excellent it was. I can't think that the bottle would be the same with that. It's much better for him to have the breast rather than the bottle. I think there's more goodness in the milk from the breast. I don't know a lot about the technical aspects of it, but I believe there's antibodies and it changes subtly from when they're first born to now. This is 3 days old now, Thomas is. Hello, you still asleep? Good. I'd like to see you asleep, it's nice. It's beautiful.